This video is blowing up on Twitter right now because it is just absurd. It's going to make a lot of people rightfully upset knowing that this is a cop, and he almost executed a man over mistaking the sound of an acorn falling for a gunshot. So in a nutshell, what happened is officers arrived at the scene, they take a person, put them in the back of their vehicle, and as one of the officers walks by him, patrolling like an NPC out of fucking 007 GoldenEye, he hears a noise, and this noise startles him. It's like a dog on 4th of July hearing a firework in the distance. And he panics, freaks out, and does a double combat roll true combo. This man was looking for iframes, and it turns out that sound he heard that he mistook for a gunshot was the sound of an acorn hitting the top of his patrol car.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
You can't even hear anything in the body cam footage. I don't even hear an acorn falling. This guy must have the most sensitive ears of all time. This guy can fucking hear the future, I guess, or something. So he hears an acorn fall somehow, and then he immediately does this like combat roll action movie stunt and unloads, just mag dumps into his patrol car with that individual inside. Now, luckily, the individual wasn't killed during this panic, because this skittish douchebag has stormtrooper aim, luckily. So he gets to live to see another day. An acorn almost fucking sent him to the grave.
Oh, I'm hit! I'm hit! What? I'm in the car! I was shot through the car! Oh!
The officer's fighting ghosts. He is actually fighting his own imagination right now. He thinks he got shot. There was no shooting, it was a fucking acorn. The only thing shot is this man's brain. It is rotted from the inside out. He's like, I've been shot! And then he goes, like he's doing the fucking Murloc sound effect from Hearthstone. It's all make-believe. Fucking SpongeBob and Patrick in their box couldn't drum up an imagination like this. But there's a very real person in harm's way that he is shooting at over nothing. So he's lying on the ground, I've been hit! Fucking continuing to pump lead into this vehicle on this guy who has done nothing to shoot at the officer or put the officer in harm's way. It's infuriating to watch. What kind of training did this officer go through? Because there's no way he should have ever been cleared for duty if he is this frightened by his own shadow. Then he starts like Rugrats Tommy Pickles crawling away, going like, oh no, you know, really going through it, thinking he's been shot. I gotta see my family again, not like this. I won't go out like this. Not when my country's in danger. I'm gonna protect all of us. And he just crawls away. It's so fucking pathetic because it was an acorn that fell. Like, I don't know how you can be this delusional, dangerously delusional. Someone almost died from it.
I'm good. I feel weird, but I'm good.
Yeah, goober, you feel weird because you drank a stupid potion at some point. This man's on the moron juice, thinking that he got shot. All because he heard the sound of an acorn falling. The reason you feel weird is probably because you're experiencing psychosis, is what's going on. Like, I don't like to use the word hero often, but I mean, look at the valor displayed by this individual here, huh? Yeah, this man deserves a Purple Heart, taking a shot in the line of duty and still returning fire. I promise you, my friends, that squirrel that dropped the acorn will never make that mistake again. It'll think twice about dropping acorns in the future. Look at the ramifications here, the consequences of your actions. This man waged war on the squirrels and came up victorious. Fucking champion. A patriot, even. Now I want to show you this from the other officer's point of view. Unfortunately, you don't get to see a super cool combat roll, but I still want you to see what it looks like from a distance. Actually, before I do that, I want to show you my stream reaction to it, because I learned about it on stream last night. And I didn't show the shooting on stream because I didn't know how YouTube would respond to that being on a live stream. But anyway, I still want to put this out there, and then I'll show you the other officer's perspective.
Shots fired!
Okay, this, I can show at least the first part of this. No fucking way. Officer Danger over here, Officer Action goes crazy.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
The double combat roll combo. That's, I mean, you don't often see that maneuver. That man was hitting some Dark Souls rolls there. All because he heard an acorn fall on his car. And I couldn't even hear the acorn still. Buffered the second roll. Oh no, no, no.
What? After that! In the car! In the car! Oh! I'm good. I feel weird, but I'm good.
So, yeah, I definitely can't pull it up because they start shooting at that car. Luckily, no one gets hurt, but it looks like he thinks he got hit because he hit his knee on the concrete, from what I can tell. And then he just hits us with, like, the Zoidberg. He goes, like a fucking Hearthstone sound effect. He doesn't get shot. They sound like they've never used a gun before. But it looks like it, too. But, I mean, you know he's been practicing that combat roll. That shit was textbook. This video was from November. The cop who dodge rolled was fired. Really? They actually... That's pretty rare. I guess it was so cringe they're like, shit, we can't keep you around. Absolutely not. So now that you got to see it firsthand, hardcore Henry style, let's go ahead and see what this FPS game looks like from the outside. Let's see what the other officer got to witness.
What? What? Where? Right there? Jesse! Jesse, are you okay? Get in the house! Get in the house! Jesse! Get back! Get back! Where is he? Where is he?
In the car! In the car!
I love the way that he crawls away, just scurries away like a cockroach, and the way that he, like, pretend gets shot. It reminds me of when you're a kid playing with your friends and you're just doing, like, imaginary cops and robbers. You're like, bang, 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 and then someone has to pretend they got shot, like, ooh, ah. That's exactly what happens there, where the officer's just, like, kneeling down, bang, 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 oh! And then, like, capsizes and falls over on the road there, and then he just starts crawling away. Oh, good lord. That's so frustrating to know that there's an officer out there, or was an officer out there like this, who can somehow hear an acorn fall and be like, shit, we're in a battleground, it's popping off, everyone, shoot at my car, quick, kill him. And I just have to wonder, what do you even do when the dust settles and you realize, oh, that guy in the car never had a gun, never shot back. Oh, wait. Buddy, I'm so sorry. It looks like it was an acorn that hit the cop car. I'm so sorry we shot at you for fucking 19 bullets in a row. Yeah, what a whoops-a-daisy moment. Oh my god. Sometimes I'm just so silly. Anyway, let's head to the station. Also, we're going to add an extra charge there for putting me into a state of frenzy. That's going to be on you. If we didn't have to get called out here in the first place, I wouldn't have had to hear an acorn fall and freak out, so that's going to be an additional charge. Like, what do you even do from there? There's nothing you can do from there. You almost killed this guy because you have superhuman hearing and thought for some reason an acorn was a threat to your life. I love this section too. Interviewed after the incident by Michael Hogan, an investigator, the deputy said he definitely heard a suppressed weapon firing. I felt an impact on my right side, like upper torso area. My legs just give out, he claimed. When shown images from his body cam footage of the acorn hitting his car, Mr. Hernandez asked, "Acorn?" And Mr. Hogan confirmed, "Acorn." It's like a fucking skit out of a cartoon, except it's real life and almost cost someone their life. Almost just killed this guy over this fucking weirdo thinking an acorn was a suppressed weapon. Questioned if he could have mistaken the sound of an acorn for gunfire, he answered, What I heard sounded what I think would be louder than an acorn hitting the roof of the car, but there's obviously an acorn hitting the roof of the car. Oh my god. What the fuck? There's gotta be some better training. There's gotta be, right? Like, is this like a course they're gonna have to take now? Like, distinguishing gunshots from acorn sounds? Like, ambient noise and the difference between gunshots and that? Like, it's wild to me that we almost had someone die because a fucking acorn fell on the car that they were in. Scary stuff. Mr. Hernandez did resign, which is good, no longer an officer. Hopefully never will be again. Hopefully won't ever have a firearm to their name again because they are not safe with one, clearly, if they're willing to just discharge it upon hearing an acorn. But yeah, I just had to share this a bit because, man, that is some silly shit right there. Luckily, the individual in the car was not killed from it. So, yeah, that's really about it. See ya. I learned about an extremely degenerate cop today that had a video surface with his behavior that's probably more embarrassing to the department than that cop that started going like G.I. Joe mode and just mag dumping after an acorn fell on his squad car. Officer Anthony Hare of the San Diego Pussy Department found himself in hot water after he was caught red-handed in the back seat with a female arrestee after she said she was down to fuck. So, one can infer from the context here that they weren't back there playing any Magic the Gathering. They weren't having themselves a commander night. There was sin and semen that contaminated the vehicle. He laid down more than justice that night. He's since resigned, but you can scrub away the cum, but you can't scrub the video footage because it has surfaced. Not of him actually, you know, doing the dirty deeds here, but of him being caught because he locked himself in the back seat and thus needed assistance. And speaking of assistance, I bet you need help drinking beverages in a better way. That's what this Moist Gamer Subs Waifu Collab Cup is all about. It's still available for about 1 more week, so go ahead and get this puppy right now. It's the finest goblet you'll ever drink out of. I'll put a link to it in the description. But anyway, let me go ahead and show you the video here as we go over the more particular elements of the case. So there was an officer in San Diego. Here, I'll just play the video. You don't even need to read the breakdown. I'll just show you the video real quick.
Well, you're not. Don't say that right now. No, I said don't say that right now because everything's being recorded right now.
So this opened my eyes to a problem that I talked about a lot. That cops have full control over when they can stop recording something. So he mentions right there, this woman's like, I'm super down to fuck. And Anthony, he's pitching a tent. He's like, oh. And he's like, wait, don't say anything because this is still recording right now. He hasn't had a chance to turn it off. But he does. He does get that chance.
What's going on?
So then he takes her down here, and then they slam ham, and he gets locked in the back seat of the car. So he pulls over here. He and this woman, they do the hanky-panky in the back seat of the police cruiser, and Goober's stuck. So then another officer gets to the scene to free him. In front of a house. Yeah, that was another thing. The place he pulls in front of is just a fucking house. Like, imagine, like, you see the police car pull up, you're like, oh god, what's happening out here? And then you see this officer fucking in the back seat of the car here. Like, he didn't even go anywhere secluded or anything. He literally just slabs up in front of this house. I also just learned a little, I guess a little hack here for police cars. You can open the back of the back door with that. That's a little trick.
114 yellow. We're code 4. just went wrong. Okay, hold on, let me turn my camera off.
Isn't that fucking awful?
She's code 4? Okay, yeah, let me turn this off real quick.
Wait, before you confess to all of the awful shit you just did right here, let me turn off my camera. So that way there's no evidence. You turned off your camera, right? Okay, good, just making sure. That's so dumb. If you can just turn it off whenever, it's so fucking stupid. Typically it was like, oh, the camera malfunctioned, but here it's just like, wait, let me turn this off. Like, what's the point? No, he got fired. Or resigned, or whatever. His claim is that he was just checking on her and that everything went wrong. You can see him, like, saying, like, everything just went wrong. I was just being such a gentle sir. I went back there to make sure everything was okay. You know, I moonlight as a gynecologist, and she was having a medical emergency with throbbing pussy syndrome, and I went back there, and one thing leads to another. I'm stuck in the back seat, and now you're probably getting the wrong idea about what happened here. It was totally professional. The semen was there earlier from a different suspect. You should have seen this fucking maniac. This degenerate was jerking off in the back seat and fucking blowing loads all over the place. It's not my semen. And if you can trace it to me, it's because it's because he got some of my hair. He got some of my DNA. Oh, he was looking for contraband. So true. Keeping the streets safe. I was back there purely to make sure there were no drugs. She obviously planted the evidence on his belt. Now, the official explanation here from the source itself, Mr. Anthony Hare, says that he went back there because he believed that the woman was having a medical emergency. I'm actually inclined to believe Mr. Hare on this claim because I think there is a very high chance she was suffering a medical emergency. Cock withdrawals. This is a serious medical condition. In fact, it claimed the life of one of my buddy's grandmothers when we were growing up. She actually passed away from wiener withdrawals. If left unattended, the symptoms can be severe and even life-threatening. So Mr. Hare was just following his code to the letter. Protect and serve. Penis. And he didn't want to do it. Brother is a hero. He shouldn't be forced to resign over a misunderstanding. He should have been given the key to the city, I'd say. This whole thing is a classic example of it's not what it looks like, you know. He did what he had to do in the moment, and then, if we go back to the explanation, it all makes perfect sense. When he was getting out of the car, it accidentally knocked his body camera off, which is just a pure coincidence that the body camera, went dark after she had made the statement about being down to have sex, and after him mentioning that the body camera was recording things. It's just really just unfortunate timing that he happened to have knocked the body camera off and it went dark right after those things had been said. But it could happen to anybody. According to the other officer, Mr. Hare was pretty embarrassed, refusing to elaborate on exactly what was happening and why he needed him out there and why he was asking about like a master key to the vehicle and stuff like that. And the woman was also, interviewed by investigators, and she claimed that he had asked for her number and to meet up when she was released from jail, saying he wanted to get with me when I was done with the warrant or whatever I got arrested for. She told investigators there was never any sexual contact between her and Mr. Hare. Really? You sure about that? What happened? Was there ejaculation showers that night? Why did he have cum on him? Where was that? Did someone like drive by and like throw in a cum potion? Like how did that happen if there was no sexual contact? But who am I to question the official story, I suppose? One thing I would like to see a little bit more elaboration on is why the officer who showed up told him to stop talking so he could turn off his body cam and they continue the conversation. That's a little weird, right? If it was all just like a big misunderstanding, wouldn't you want that on record so you could clear up all of the misconceptions about it? That just seems a little suspicious. I just think it's super dumb that at any point in time an officer can just turn off their body cam and that doesn't lead to a lot of questions about why. I don't know, that just rubs me the wrong way. Kind of defeats the whole purpose of it, really. I wonder how often this happens. Probably more often than you'd think, I guess. I would guess. You remember, I actually made a video on this one like a year ago. There was a cop who slabbed up in front of a school. I think it was a high school. And had a woman come into his police cruiser so they could fucking clap cheeks. So that way they could steam ham together in the back seat of his police cruiser in front of the school. And then he would kick her out. So they were like having an affair and they do it in front of a school. So it probably happens a lot. In general, is it illegal to have sex in a car? That's a really good question. I'm gonna Google it. Because I think it would count as, like, public indecency or something, right? Wouldn't it, if you got caught? But, like, you can have sex in a car in your garage or something. Like, if it's on private property and not in public. Like, I think you just have to be out of view of the public. Generally, it is illegal to have sex in public if a reasonable person believes that someone will see them. Therefore, if you do not have reasonable expectation of privacy and you decide to have sex in your car, you could be brought up on criminal charges. Yeah. So you can if it's not in public view. So somewhere private. Which makes sense. Makes membership pricky. Though I like the idea that there's just a blanket illegality to it. Like, having sex in a car will have you in jail no matter where you do it. So, like, you park your car in your garage, you fuck your wife or whatever, and then all of a sudden the sirens are blaring, like, get the fuck out! Get off the ground! We know what you just did here! You're going to the slammer! Having sex in a car! Have you no decency? If you fuck in your car in the garage, do you leave it running? Educational question. I guess it depends on how long you last. If you're a one-pump chump, you could probably get away with leaving your car on, but if you actually go for a while, like, maybe there's a carbon monoxide risk, potentially. I guess it depends on how long you do it. I would say you'd probably want to turn your car off just to be safe. You could at least leave the electrical on and have the air blowing. Probably don't need the whole car on. If you die mid-nut, will the semen that comes out still be viable? I don't see why not. Last week I watched a police chase on YouTube that I was convinced was the slowest in the history of law enforcement. They were chasing a Tahoe that was driving under the speed limit, using their turn signal, and it was honestly just like a really polite chase, if you can even call it that. It was more like a motor cavalcade, and I thought to myself, golly, this is what it's all about. You know, this is speed. It doesn't get better than this. The intensity was off the charts. The adrenaline was pumping throughout my body just watching it. I can only imagine the rush of the officers as well as the woman driving the Tahoe. And I just didn't think it could go slower. Until today. I watched a video where the police chased down an Amish buggy. And it's as thrilling as it sounds. Bodycam shows police in low-speed chase of drunk Amish guy driving horse and buggy. That goddamn menace. Okay. Just when you thought it was safe to go back on the road, now you gotta look both ways just in case old Abraham comes around in the horse and buggy. And he's been drinking.
Whoa! Hey!
Hey, Abe!
Hey!
Hey, you put that shit in park!
Wake up!
Good lord!
There's a Bud Light can sitting in there and he passed clean out. He'll go home. The horse knows how to get home. I'm gonna see if I can get in front of him and slow down.
Well, you're gonna scare the horse if you do that. What is that plan? You better hope this guy hasn't tricked out that buggy with nitrous oxide boosters.
Might have it stopped. Nope.
Oh boy! Oh, now look what you done.
Disregard. He just rammed it into my car.
You knew he was asleep and you parked in front of him. What do you mean? Yeah, this guy just got Amish pit maneuvered here. This is entirely the officer's fault. He even said the guy is slumped over, passed out, and then he still slabs up in the middle of his, like, path.
Hey! Stop your horse!
What?
Stop your horse!
What? Yeah, let me just put it in a park real quick.
Stop your horse! Get your horse!
What do you want me to do? He doesn't even know where he is right now. Man, just fucking peel out of there. The cops will never catch you. An old-fashioned Wild Western chase here.
Okay, grab the horse so it...
Arrest that horse as well.
243. Repeating, Victor Adam.
Let's breathalyze it. Might be drunk.
I got around him and had him stopped.
No, what are you talking?
In the road, and then when I got out, he went to go around me and just rammed it right to... And he's got busted his head.
No, I don't think that's what happened at all. What? Pardon? What in tarnation? This guy was asleep. I don't think he made like a conscious decision to go around. I think the horse itself panicked because of your fucking lights pulling up out of nowhere in the middle of the night, and the horse tried to get around you. Not the driver coming up with a conscious decision to try and drift around you. But let's watch it back. Maybe I missed something.
We might have it stopped. Nope. Disregard.
It's like stopping Santa's sleigh. Like, you just put a roadblock in front of the reindeer. It's your fault. And even here you said we might have it stopped, and then afterwards you're saying I had it stopped, which you didn't. You never had me. You never had your car, as Dominic Toretto said. Granny shifting, not double clutching like you should.
And he stopped in the road, and then when I got out...
Type of cop to put down some road spike traps to stop it.
And he's got busted his head.
Yeah, get the spike tarp out.
In the damn ditch. I don't know. And I started walking around the corner of the car to grab the reins, and that's when he fucking took off.
What are you doing? I watched your body cam. What?
Every time you get beside of him, he'd freaking speed up.
It's an animal. You scared it. The dude was asleep. He passed out. You said so yourself. This man just made up his own fanfic on camera. Check the comments. No way the comments aren't calling that out. I love that the horse knows exactly where it's going, like a self-driving Tesla. The comments are kind of slapping. He fell asleep in the wagon, horse left for home. He technically wasn't driving. The horse was on autopilot. Don't see what's wrong. Drunk guy has a designated driver. He's a passenger in an Amish Uber. Oh, here, yeah, now the comments calling it out. Anyone else catch the cop changing the story? Yeah. Yeah, this was pretty interesting. This was some of the worst police work of all time. Throughout my entire academic career, I got consistently decent grades because I did the bare minimum of just turning in assignments when they were due. But of course, I'd occasionally slip up, you know, I'm human, everyone makes mistakes. And in those situations, I always did what every cornered animal does. I lashed out. I showed my teeth and I threw the Hail Mary. So I'd always try and weasel my way out or buy extra time through a little white lie, coming up with an excuse. I'd always try the classics like, "Hey professor, I'm sorry, my report's not ready today. I'm gonna need a little extra time. Last night, I found my brother lying face down in a pool of his own vomit. As you know, he struggles with alcoholism and he was about to meet his maker, so I had to improvise a saline drip solution in order to save his life, and things just got away from me and I ran out of time." You know, I just try it because why not? There's no reason not to at least try and come up with an excuse to get a little extra time out of the assignment. But you know what there's never an excuse for? Drunk driving. Yeah, you bet your sweet bippy all of that was to say, I have no fucking respect for drunk drivers at all. I think it's inexcusable. I think it's unforgivable. Like, there's just never any justification for driving drunk. Especially not in today's world, where there's like Uber, Lyft, there's like 1,000 ways of just getting a ride home. Like, Jesus Christ, you could probably find someone on Craigslist that's giving piggyback rides out for $10. Like, there is just always a better way that doesn't involve driving drunk. And the reason I'm talking about that today is because a TikTok star named Amanda Caravala just lost her whole influencer career because a very embarrassing video has now hit the internet of her DUI that she received last year. It's fucking rough. I just saw a lot of people talking about it. I don't know the TikTok star, but it's apparently a pretty goofy video. So I wanted to at least see a little bit about it. It's nothing crazy. Okay, I'm still gonna give it a chance. This intro is going so hard for no reason. Makes me feel like I'm watching Miami Vice. What seems to be the problem, officer? How long are we just gonna stay? I mean, I think we can safely assume she's sleeping here. Maybe knock on the window. Are we timing her? Yeah, it looks like everything's okay here. Oh my god, wait, there's more police officers. Oh, you can't see it. It's behind my webcam. There's more police officers right here. Man, this whole block was popping off here. Damn. Everyone's catching the heat out here. I think we can establish that this is no condition to be driving in. She's missed a full cycle already. They might run if he wakes her up. That's a really good point that I didn't think about. That was actually a good point. So what's the proper protocol here? Slash her tires so she can't? Like, we're gonna have to wake her up eventually. We can't just let her sleep here all night. Oh. I see, so that was the play.
Whoa, whoa. Wake up! Put it in park!
Put the car in park.
Put
Damn.
the car in park!
She's like a zombie.
Police department, put the car in park!
Holy shit.
Wake up!
What is happening in there? This reminds me of the scene from the Resident Evil movie where there's that guy who says, "Don't open the door," right before he gets, like, his head blown off.
Come park over here.
Yeah, Amanda's having a real tough time here, staying in this corporeal realm. Every time she starts dozing off, her jaw just falls to the floor like a Dementor about to suck out some happiness. It is like actually kind of disturbing to look at. I've been super drunk, like turbo intoxicated, and I can't recall any videos of me ever looking like that. Like, that is a different level where, like, your jaw muscles stop responding to you. So this could be more than just alcohol. Of course, I'm not there testing her blood or going over toxicology reports. I'm just speculating as a pea-brained fucking idiot observer over here. It just looks really weird that her jaw is doing its absolute best to escape her face. She starts looking like the monster from the Amnesia game. Man, this is rough. Holy shit, how long do we stay in this standoff?
Would you mind opening the door for me?
Break the window? I'm surprised they haven't.
I'll
Hey,
lock
there we
it.
go.
Excellent. There we go.
Oh,
Hey,
hello.
nice. The police department.
Hey, what's going on?
Take your seatbelt off.
How fast was I going?
Show where you're at.
They're both, yeah, checking out the seats. I think you guys are like, shit, you know what I'm saying?
What?
Relax for a second.
What
Do
happened?
you know where you're at?
Yeah?
Where?
At the decision.
At the what?
I don't live in.
At the what?
At the decision that.
Go step over here. Hey, we're gonna go over here. Go over here.
At the what? What did you... The Abin Simon? Holy shit. Damn, she is fucked up.
A bunch of cop cars. And
Nice. Astute observation.
Alright, come over here. Hello.
Maybe she's sober.
What's your name?
Amanda.
Amanda, what's going on tonight?
He's talking to her like a dog.
Cop car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Me?
Yes. How much have you had to drink tonight?
Um,
How much have you had to drink tonight?
Nothing.
Be honest.
what time is it?
3 o'clock.
Okay, 3 o'clock.
Yeah, how much have you had to drink?
3 o'clock. I've had 3 o'clock to drink tonight.
Okay. Alright, so my next
Right.
question to you... Alright, man.
Can't argue with that,
Other
to be
questions?
fair. That was a pretty good
Anything that's
checkmate.
medically wrong with you? Are you diabetic?
How am I supposed to track your finger with just my eyes when my kids' cars are moving over here?
Okay, alright, so
No
kids'
reason.
cars? Okay.
You wanna face this way?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
is
yeah.
she seeing? My kids' cars? Is it like in Looney Tunes where when someone gets hit with a mallet over their head, they're seeing like stars and little Tweety birds flying around in circles? This is... What the fuck? Yeah, this is like beyond faded. No, I'm sorry for the mistake, ma'am. Please, continue on your way. Seems we were wrong.
No shit!
Oh boy.
No shit!
Now we've reached that stage of being drunk where it's just loud and angry. Well, she either got banned or doesn't have an account on here anymore. Now, Amanda Caravala wasn't like a super duper TikTok star, but she had almost 2 billion views on the platform before, I'm assuming, being removed from it, or maybe she got laughed off the platform once this video was released. I'm really not sure on the timeline there. But if you want a little more information on the case, this video is actually from 2021, and she pled guilty and was sentenced to 12 months probation and 6 days of community service, and then paid about $2,000 in fines. So overall, she got off pretty easy. Even though she wasn't involved in an accident or there were no victims, at least not that we know of, I still think that this is light sentencing, but of course it could be my own bias because of how much I despise the act of drunk driving. It's needlessly dangerous and endangers not only the driver's life, but anyone in their car and anyone in any car around them. It's fucking ridiculous. So she got off super easy. Like, I mean, goddamn. When they asked her how much she had to drink, her reply was 3 o'clock. She's had 3 o'clock to drink. Do you know how much that is? If you convert that into fluid ounces, that's like 5,000 beers. Like, that is an incredible amount of alcohol she's consumed. Like, her BAC must have been like a 10.0. Oh yeah, I also didn't show it in the video here, but I'll just explain it to you. Towards the end of her arrest, she kept asking for someone named Mike Davis to show up to the scene, as if she was like trying to summon Batman. Like, she repeatedly asks for some vigilante named Mike Davis, who apparently works for that police department. And that got a big giggle out of me, because I love to imagine, like, Mike Davis hears his name being called somewhere, and he hops in his car and his cruiser, turns on the siren, scoots in sideways, and gets out like an action movie hero and says, "All right, boys, I've got it from here. You're safe now, Amanda." Like, I just have to imagine, like, she must have known of someone loosely in the police department and just tried her best to, like, get out of this by dropping his name, to no avail, still getting arrested. And then she makes a huge hoopla in the car on the way there. But yeah, I just wanted to show this because I think this is an instructive moment on how your entire online career can be undone with one horrible decision. And not only that, a decision like drunk driving could just straight up end your life. One bad decision like that could just straight up fucking kill you. That's not an exaggeration. That shit happens all the time. Fuck drunk driving. Don't do it. A little PSA. That's about it. See ya. It really takes a lot to surprise me with stupidity in this day and age, because we have easy, unlimited access to the loony bin called Twitter 24 hours a day. It's like a zoo, like a little SCP containment facility for all of the dumbest and weirdest creatures that evolution and inbreeding has ever produced. And yet today, I watched a video that left me stunned by an evil imbecile. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen this because it went viral earlier this week, so I'm definitely tardy to the party, but I'm just seeing it now. It's a drunk driver from Illinois. She killed 2 people and couldn't stop giggling about it and couldn't register that she wasn't going to be able to go to school the following day or get her car back. So there's body cam footage that has now just come out, even though this incident took place last year. She received 14 years for this, which I think is just not enough. I've been very vocal about my disdain for drunk drivers. I hate drunk drivers more than Garfield hates Mondays. It is a purely unforgivable act. It is selfish, dangerous, and there's no excuse for it ever. Especially in today's society where there's Uber, Lyft, a taxi, calling a friend, you can easily find transportation to get home that doesn't involve putting everyone's life at risk on the road. And this lady killed 2 people while drunk driving. Just normal, innocent people that did nothing wrong, and not only did she kill them, she couldn't stop laughing about it, just having a giggle fit like she was in a tickle fight. The body cam footage released, and it is disgusting.
Head straight. Okay. Head straight. Yeah, I told you it's hard. I'd rather do the walking.
Okay, go up. Keep your head straight. Just look up with your eyes.
She's reacting to a fatal accident like a child reacts to a clown at a birthday party. And she was informed that 2 people involved here died. And she truly just couldn't give less of a fuck about any of that.
Oh, hey, you never answered me about my car. I have school tomorrow, so how do I get my car for tomorrow?
Well, your car is totaled.
It's what?
Your car is totaled.
Totaled?
Totaled, wrecked.
So they conducted field sobriety tests, all of which she failed because obviously she is completely hammered. They then get to this point in the video where the officer and her are in the room, and she doesn't like the silence, so she says that she's going to start singing. So she starts flexing the golden pipes with some of the worst fucking singing you'll ever hear. It's not really singing, it's more like some kind of Gregorian chant if it was being farted out of a walkie-talkie, and she starts dancing like she's in some kind of trance. But regardless, she starts boogieing down and singing. She's treating this whole situation like she's at fucking Mardi Gras. Like it's like she's celebrating that she had just killed 2 people as if it was some kind of fucking sacrifice, and she's happy about the whole situation. It's not even that she's not registering it. She actively doesn't care, which is completely different. Yes, she is beyond drunk, clearly, but she is aware of what has happened. He has told her multiple times she understands why she's there and just actually doesn't give a fuck.
Okay, so how do I get it to your speed?
You don't.
So, I don't go to school tomorrow, is what you're telling me?
You brain dead fucking worm. Obviously you're not going to school tomorrow. You just killed 2 people in a drunk driving accident. This isn't GTA where you can just reset and undo what happened here. You took 2 people's lives away because you're a fucking ridiculously stupid idiot. Like, holy shit. And the only thing that she can even process is that this might be an inconvenience to her because she has school tomorrow and she doesn't want to miss class.
No, ma'am. You want me to be honest with you? You're going to jail, you don't have a bond, you killed 2 people tonight. I don't think you understand that. You do not have a bond, you are not getting out of jail. Your car is property of East Peoria Police Department because it's a crime scene. It killed 2 people tonight. You are clueless with that, clearly. I've already explained this to you. You're going to jail for reckless homicide tonight. You're going to jail for aggravated DUI for killing 2 people. That's what's going on. So no, you're not going to school tomorrow. You're not getting your car out of impound.
Can I have a Tuesday for my night class?
How this officer didn't just stand up and flip a chair over out of frustration is beyond me. Just watching this had me want to flip a table like I had just lost a game of chess and got upset about it. He just laid down all of the brass tacks here, explained the situation for the fucking 50th time already, and once again, she still only cares about her standing, about being able to go to class. So then she says, well, what about Tuesday? You know, like, as if she thought she'd only spend like 24 hours in jail or something after killing 2 people. Like, okay, you know, I'll do the time for the crime. Oh, okay, I get it. Punishment is necessary. So 24 hours, right? Tuesday I can get my car? We can just go ahead and magically put my car back together even after it's been totaled after my drunk driving accident that took away 2 people's lives? Do we have a Magneto on board who can fix my car up so that I can get to class on Tuesday?
Did you just hear what I just told you?
You said I'm not going tomorrow. I'm talking about Tuesday.
Did you hear when I said that
I'm going to jail tomorrow.
You're going to jail when we're done here?
Yes.
Did you understand what I told that you killed 2 people tonight?
Yes. I'm just wondering when I can go to school.
Okay, we're done.
Once again, she is hearing him loud and clear. She is acknowledging that she is hearing that she is responsible for the death of 2 people. She just doesn't care. They could have brought the corpses in, and she probably would have let out a hearty belly laugh like Santa Claus. She doesn't fucking care. She didn't know them personally, thus their life is meaningless to her. The only thing that matters is now it might be somewhat of an inconvenience because she thinks she might not be able to go to school tomorrow or even on Tuesday now. So now she's starting to get a little panicked because, oh, she's going to miss her fucking Tuesday night class. Not because she just killed 2 people, it's just she's going to miss her Tuesday night class.
You're all on body camera being completely careless about killing 2 people tonight. You could care less. That's sad and pathetic and horrible all at the same time.
Can you say that as a cop?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay, so can I ask when I can go back to school?
I'm not the officer on the scene here, but I can answer the question for you. 14 years, and you can go back to school. And hopefully, if you do go back to school in 14 years, everyone bullies the shit out of you and never lets you forget this moment, and never lets you forget what you did. I don't think you should be able to go back to school in 14 years. I think that is way too lenient of a punishment for what you've done. I think the sentence should have been much longer here, for sure. But I wasn't the judge on the case, so it's clearly not up to me here. I think she is irredeemably stupid, and I do think stupidity can reach a level where it is dangerous, like in a case like this, where you become a danger to everyone around you because you are such an absolute bumbling fucking moron. Now, she was singing a bit of a different tune here, talking about how remorseful she was, saying she's sorry for everything and she'd never commit anything like that again, hasn't drank since that day and doesn't plan on drinking ever again. However, the judge was implored to just impose the maximum 28-year penalty, which I do completely agree with, but unfortunately, she only received 14 years. I also find it very hard to believe that now she's starting to feel remorseful, only now that she realizes she's not only going to miss school for those couple of days, she's going to miss school for 14 years. I still don't believe she has any level of remorse for the victims here. I truly don't. I understand she was drunk, but I used to get drunk a lot, and if you told me I so much as pushed somebody and hurt them, I would have been inconsolably upset that I was responsible for something like that, even while fucking inebriated. Like, it's not like when you're drunk, all of a sudden you become a callous statue that can't process emotion or process any level of information. Because she acknowledged multiple times that she understood 2 people died from what happened. She just still didn't care. She kept singing and dancing and just talking about school and how it might be an inconvenience to her. So I really do think that even while sober, she just doesn't fucking value anyone's life that she doesn't personally know. I know this is me getting very like armchair psychologist about all of it, but it's just the impression I get from the body cam footage as well as reading the rest of the story. I think she is irredeemably stupid and evil and dangerous. So, just wanted to talk about this story a little bit. That's about it. So yeah. To many people, Florida is an incomprehensible wasteland, almost like something out of a fantasy novel, like Narnia, if Narnia was infested with drugs and human trafficking. But for me, I call Florida home. I've lived in this utopia for all 28 years of my life, and I've got to tell you, I swear with my hand on a stack of Bibles, there's nowhere else I'd rather live, being completely truthful. Born and raised from the womb to the tomb in Florida. Well, I guess not womb to tomb, because I'm pretty sure Florida's going to be underwater within the next 20 years, but hey, we're on a tight schedule, I guess. We're on the clock now, and that only makes the time we have with Florida even more special. What's that expression? The star that burns brightest burns out fastest? That is very applicable to Florida. It is a shining star of a state. That little hemorrhoid on the USA? That's right. That's Florida, baby. So anyway, I was feeling awfully patriotic today, and I wanted to celebrate some Florida enthusiasm by talking about a few stories that I've just been thinking about a lot over the last couple days since I learned about them because they're so wacky. Florida has a reputation for producing the most outrageous headlines ever, which is why Florida Man has been like a coined phrase for quite a few years now. Florida Man is just always referring to the crazy stories that could only really happen in Florida. And there's just some that I've really been thinking about that have happened recently. The first story is almost wholesome in its stupidity. So a man stole an electric scooter from Target and then assembled it outside the Target he had stole it at. So he was out there assembling this electric scooter for quite a long time, which gave the police ample opportunity to show up and arrest him.
What's going on, man?
Stop.
Do me a favor, stand up.
Huh?
Stand up. I'm gonna detain you for a second. Come here. Put it down.
Yes, sir.
Jimmy Neutron's already been hard at work assembling this device. You can see the electric scooter box right next to him, so he's taking it out, he's following the instructions and putting it together. And usually these aren't exactly quick projects, so the authorities would have had plenty of time to not only receive the call from Target, but to then go ahead and stop for lunch if they wanted to, and then still show up in time to arrest this guy. He was out there for quite a while building the scooter, so the police showed up and probably were beyond surprised to see that he was still there. This was probably like a jump scare for them as well, that this guy who had stolen a scooter like 30 minutes ago was just outside putting it together.
You know why I'm detaining you?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Once I get these on you, I'll explain it to you. We'll get it all figured out, alright?
Alright.
A confounding mystery, no doubt. Why would this good Samaritan just casually putting together the electric scooter he just stole possibly be getting arrested or detained here? Something that science can't quite explain, I suppose. I just really like this whole idea here. He steals the scooter and he's like, alright, great. Oh man, I can't ride this. It's in the box. Well, guess I'm gonna have to put this shit together like it's some fucking Legos. And he just does it outside the Target he stole it at. He could have taken that anywhere else. Literally anywhere else. He could have taken it to like a nearby park or even just on the sidewalk somewhere and started putting it together, but instead he puts it together at the danger zone, the hot spot where he had just committed a crime.
Did you buy the scooter? You don't want to answer that question?
Caught him with his hand in the cookie jar with that question. He asks if he bought the scooter, to which he receives no reply. So then the reality starts to sink in for this guy. I'll go ahead and break down the story here, though it's not super interesting, very generic. Target employees saw him grab the Razor electric scooter, so then they just called the police on him, who then showed up and arrested him because he was outside fucking building the thing. What I really love so much about this one is the fact that this is actual, like, Skyrim NPC behavior. So this guy committed a crime. He takes the scooter, he steals it. And then the second he leaves the store, he must have forgot how he acquired that scooter and thought it was totally okay to just go ahead and start putting it together there. That item he just stole. The next story I want to share with you all is actually a really interesting crime plot. This one's got a lot of layers to it. This one's like almost a huge scheme. It's a $1 million plus milk theft. This is actually like a whole crime group, like the fucking Milk Mafia. They got together and hatched the perfect crime. Like Ocean's 11. They decided they were going to steal a fucking ton of milk. A lot of dairy products. It actually goes pretty deep. So the 6 suspects were employees of Island Dairy, a milk distributor that worked with MacArthur Dairy, a milk and dairy products company. And they were arrested as a result of an investigation dubbed Operation Got Milk. This is already a lot to take in. So you've got a lot of players at play on the chessboard here, a lot of pieces in position. When I first saw the headline, I expected it to be like 1 or 2 Florida men that thought they could steal a lot of milk and sell it. So they stole $1 million worth of milk, and I was like, holy shit, they just made $1 million. It took me a minute to register in my fucking smooth little brain here that who in the world, who on God's green earth is going to be buying $1 million worth of milk? That's not exactly a product that you could turn around and immediately get your money out of. You'd be squatting on a massive, massive fucking inventory of dairy for years before you even remotely started to be able to sell some of it. I don't think there's like a booming black market for milk, so it's not like you're just going to immediately be able to turn it around and sell it on the fucking Grand Exchange like it's RuneScape or something. And I've got to be honest, I'll admit my ignorance here. I don't know if Big Dairy buys from random people, right? So if you have $1 million worth of milk that you have stolen from these trucks, how are you going to try and sell it to a different distributor or a different company? I just don't think they'd be buying your, you know, trunk of milk, right? You pull up behind an alley and you're like, all right, I've got the fucking product here, and they give you money for the milk. I don't think a huge market to be able to immediately turn these products into money in their hands. News stations reported that suspects were delivery drivers and dispatchers for Island Dairy. Since 2021, the suspects systematically pilfered more than $925,000 worth of milk from MacArthur Dairy, along with around $350,000 worth of crates. So obviously we're dealing with a lot of milk here. This is more than a Morton Joe was able to harvest in Mad Max Fury Road. The men would allegedly manipulate the ordering system, causing extra dairy products to be loaded onto the distribution delivery trucks. Police said that the delivery drivers would deviate from their pre-assigned routes, meet with another individual, and transfer the extra dairy products to their delivery truck. So they even reveal the method here. They're just giving away the formula that they used. One suspect allegedly sold each stolen milk carton for $10. Let's pump the brakes for a moment. Who the fuck is buying that? Not only is the price not great, but it's also extremely sketchy just to be buying a carton of milk from a stranger. Who would do that? That shit could be poison. It could be just fucking liquid cyanide in there. Like, what? Why would you do that instead of just going to Walmart and getting a carton of milk for like much less than that usually? It just doesn't compute. Who would treat this guy like he's their drug dealer, like their plug? Like, you know, passing out free milk cartons like, hey, come here. I've got some milk cartons in the trunk of my car. First one's free. But if you ever need your fix, you can meet me by the CVS dumpster. I got plenty more milk cartons where that came from. Like, I just can't even imagine that world. That's so wild. This was an organized crime, basically, where they are working in unison to steal products from a company, and obviously the person receiving those products was selling stolen goods. Officials told WTVJ that Island Dairy conducted an internal investigation that uncovered the irregularities and identified the potential suspects. Police were then contacted and began surveillance on the suspects. Hours later, investigators said they captured the transfer of stolen dairy products on video. So they got him. They got him. This is actually a pretty sizable theft here. $1 million plus worth of milk is fucking crazy. So yeah, I definitely wanted to share that one because, wow, what a plan to steal and sell milk, of all things. Anyway, these were just 2 stories I had read recently and watched, I suppose, since there's videos of both, that have really just stuck with me. I keep thinking about them because they're so goofy. So I just wanted to share that. That's really about it. So yeah. I saw a body cam video floating around today that I would have sworn was from Florida, but turns out it's not. It's a gentleman being arrested for driving a Power Wheels battery-powered car while intoxicated.
I've got a male adult on a Power Wheels. I stopped him driving down 2nd Street. No lights on or nothing like that. What's my grounds if I get any impairment off of him?
Standard protocol dictates you give him an apple juice and let him know he needs to install headlights and some neon on that motherfucker, and you send him on his way. And just be thankful you ever even caught him in the first place. He must have been granny shifted, not double clutching like he should. Lucky he didn't blow the welds off the intake. That puppy can get up to like 5 miles per hour, and you'd never see him if he decided you didn't want to be seen. That baby hauls.
Yeah, man, it's a battery-powered Jeep. No, it's not the pink one. It's just like that, but it's blue.
The police decide that the Power Wheel still qualifies as a vehicle, as it's not self-propelled, and the officer proceeds with the usual traffic stop protocol.
Would it have changed anything if it was the pink one, I wonder? Like, the pink one, that's totally fine. That's textbook. But the second he received the report that it was blue, he just fucking goes ballistic. He loses his marbles. Not the pink one? Blue? Jeepers creepers! What in tarnation? Did you pit maneuver him? Is he still breathing? From the sound of it, you caught Cobra Commander. Excellent work, officer. Yes, throw the book at him. I understand that it is dangerous to be riding around on anything that doesn't have lights, but this could easily have been a warning as opposed to, well, what can I get him for? You know what I mean?
You stand up out there for a second real quick, bud? Yeah. You have any knives on you or anything like that?
Yeah, I believe.
Can you take it off, throw it in the Jeep for me real quick? Yeah, any drink or anything tonight?
Please present your license and registration as well as the Toys R Us receipt for this vehicle, please.
No, not all? Okay.
The officer begins to administer some field sobriety tests to determine if the influence of drugs or alcohol could have made John think that driving a children's toy through town was a good idea.
It's silly and weird, sure, but it's not some horrific idea either. If Uber's not an option and no one could pick him up, it's significantly better than the alternative a lot of people turn to, which is driving themselves home in a state of inebriation. Also, let's just state the obvious. This thing isn't very fast. It doesn't have a lot of get up and go to it. It is slower than just walking. The Power Wheels doesn't come equipped with a V8 and NOS boosters. It is literally slower than me just walking. So it's probably less of a risk anyway because it's so goddamn slow in the first place. Plus, from the traffic stop here, it doesn't seem like he's riding the Power Wheels on the main road. It's not like it's, you know, Mario Kart out here. He's not driving the Power Wheels around, drifting around corners, throwing banana peels behind him, disrupting the traffic flow or anything. He is, it seems, going through driveways and through the grass, which is what Power Wheels is made for anyway. I really think this could have just been a warning and they both laugh about it, giggle, and he just doesn't do it going further. You know, maybe he's like a repeat offender who always finds creative ways of getting home when really drunk or something, so, you know, next week maybe he straddles those Amazon Prime delivery bots, mounting it like a horse and has it ride him home or something. Like, that could be a totally separate issue, but this, it just seems highly unnecessary to make him do a field sobriety test and treat it like a normal traffic stop violation that eventually leads to him being arrested and charged. That just seems like overkill when I think that could have just been better spent going after people doing actually really harmful bad things as opposed to this guy on his trusty steed, the Power Wheels.
I never could have lived there.
The officer proceeds to conduct additional tests. He gives him multiple opportunities to pass different versions of the straight line balance test, but John does not pass with flying colors.
He failed the field sobriety test harder than me failing in a tall man competition. So they do get him for that, operating a vehicle while intoxicated, even a tiny one.
Making the officer question his fitness to operate a motor vehicle, even a tiny one.
They speculate that this guy's on meth and decide that it's worth taking him in for this Power Wheels violation. And that got me kind of thinking here, up here in the noodle. Let's say someone is tweaking out on meth in a big way. They're insano style on meth. If given the choice, I would much rather they do that in a Power Wheels vehicle. Because if they decide to chase me for whatever reason, I feel confident I can outrun a Power Wheels car. I am faster than Power Wheels, but not even a goddamn US military fighter jet is faster than someone on meth running on foot. I'm sure some of you have seen those videos of how fast people on meth can run at top speed. They go 0 to 60 faster than a Cybertruck.
This may come as a surprise, but under Indiana code, the Power Wheels qualifies as a vehicle. In addition, state code forbids an individual from operating a vehicle while intoxicated. The location where John is driving falls under the definition of a highway or street, according to law. So arresting John for operating a vehicle on a highway while intoxicated is entirely within the officer's authority.
And also just entirely unnecessary in my opinion. Like, I feel bad for anyone that gets in a situation like John where they're turning to drugs or alcohol to the point where they're taking a Power Wheels ride home, you know what I mean? Like, that's sad. And this absolutely could have been one of those situations where the officer has some empathy and just lets him know, like, hey, you can't really be doing this, you know? But instead, they slap him with charges, throw him in the back of the police car. The fate of the Power Wheels is unknown. I don't know if they towed it or put a boot on it. Who's really to say?
However, given the circumstances, it does seem rather petty that the officer is going forward with the arrest.
I was pretty surprised to hear the narrator say that, because it is petty to go through with this arrest. He then goes on to say that it raised some additional questions like, what if a child is driving a similar vehicle on the road instead? Or what if someone was operating a lawnmower, or like a riding mower or something like this as well? But yeah, even though the officers legally can make this arrest, I think there's a strong argument for why they shouldn't make this arrest. Like, I can shit my pants right now. I am holding in a fart that I know is packing a little extra punch. But I really shouldn't. Like, I'm not going to gain anything by doing that. I'm going to waste my time and my britches doing it. It's just one of those things where, even though they can do something, there was no reason to do it. This could have just been a simple conversation. Hey man, I don't know if you're going through a rough patch or not, but you really can't be taking the Power Wheels for a spin while you're drunk. You know, keep that puppy locked up in the garage and, you know, wishing you the best of luck. This is just a warning, so, you know, be a little more careful with it.
All that's because of Power Wheels?
Still can't drive them on their own, man.
I mean, what is you see me running most of the way out on the grass?
I passed you on the road, okay?
I know that.
So the officer's saying that he was on the road with this vehicle, which does change things a bit. That does make it much more dangerous. However, in the footage here, there is a short moment before he gets pulled over where he is slightly encroaching on the road, but it seems like he's only there because there was nowhere else to go, because there's something blocking his path with like the sidewalk and the grass there, so it looks like he gets onto the road to get around that. I don't know if the officer's referring to another time, like maybe there was an instance before this whole thing started where he was just on the road, like maybe he was cruising down the interstate, taking a little joyride, tossing some bush lights over his head or something. I doubt it, but maybe there was a time before this started where he was on the road, and again, that makes it a little more understandable why he pulled him over, but I still don't think it was necessary to arrest him and slap charges on him for it. It still could have just been like a warning, like, hey, don't do that.
Now that's it, now that way through someone. Now she comes back through. See that? Yeah.
They search his vehicle and find nothing noteworthy. I half expected them to call a canine unit out there to sniff around and see if they alert for drugs or something in it, just to really blow this way out of proportion. Like they get the bomb squad out there too, just to double check that the battery's not actually a weapon of mass destruction or something, and the fucking Power Wheels is the Trojan horse trying to get it into the middle of the city. It's so fucking silly, like just how hard they went on this for no reason.
The toy car is still the man's property, and they can't just abandon it in the middle of the road.
What are we waiting on?
Have to have a tow truck for the vehicle, okay?
Oh, okay, I didn't know, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's going to Troy's Towing. I can't leave it out here, so...
Oh, man.
You remember how I said, who knows what happened to the toy car? Well, you knows now. I was trying to keep that a little mystery for you. They actually fucking tow it. The gall to tow a toy car. You could have just thrown that in the back of the police vehicle. Just set it next to the guy. It would fit. Like, you didn't need to tow it. That's just slapping on another unnecessary expense that this guy is now going to have to pay to reclaim his property.
Yeah, I've been riding these Power Wheels for the last 9 months, and you're the only one that's taken me to jail. Why is that?
You've been stopped on it?
Yes.
John insists that he has talked to various other police officers who had no problem with him driving the miniature car. Even if that is the case, however, it doesn't change the DUI charge he's facing tonight.
He does say that he was on meth and marijuana at the time of the arrest, and then goes on to talk about how he was only 4 blocks from his home, and he'd actually been riding around on Power Wheels for about 9 months, and other officers had stopped him and didn't have a problem with it until this evening. It's probably the craziest DUI I've seen, and I just wanted to talk about it a little bit here because it is pretty wacky. And that's about it. See ya.